WTIM.
Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Glad to have you along. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. And People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. I have Taylorville Police Chief Dwayne Wheeler in studio right now. Great to have you here, Chief.
Thank you.
So you're not here kind of part of here on for Taylorville Police Department, but really you're here to talk about the Safe Passage program. So how has that been over the past few months or so since we last talked?
It's been doing great. Those grants that we got from ICJIA, we received a $105,000 grant for the fiscal year of 2022. And then we got approved for fiscal year 2023, $157,000. And then I got the unofficial word that we qualified for the 2024. So financially, I think it's been a blessing to help our citizens that are struggling. But then again, we are still receiving donations from citizens, not just in Taylorville, from all around Central Illinois. Also, many police departments are getting involved with the program because they see our numbers have dropped crime-wise, and also they see that we're helping so many people that it's a good thing to do in their city. So what's nice about that, I've been talking to a lot of chiefs, been talking to different city council members, mayors in different cities, and the program just works, and we are an example of that. And the state saw that we were an example of that. That's why they gave us the money, and we're just humbled by everything that's going on with this program.
How would you characterize the growth that you've seen for the Safe Passage program in just the last year or so? It's
just tremendous growth. Debbie and Denise, kudos to them. They work so hard on this program. I get calls all the time. Then I switch them downstairs to them, or they get the calls. An officer will get a call. An officer's out in the street, might be at a domestic, that might be drug related. They might ask for help on the scene. They'll talk to them. One thing about the Safe Passage program is everyone's on board with the program. The officers are on board. If they do see someone struggling, they mention the Safe Passage program. And I think that, the word, everyone knows the Safe Passage program here in Taylorville. And also we have we do have a lot of people that do come from, out of Taylorville for help, and we don't turn nobody down.
That's good to hear as well. I want to know, well, actually, briefly here, let's back up. For those who may not be familiar, I understand a lot of people are familiar with Safe Passage, but give a brief overview of what Safe Passage does.
Yeah, Safe Passage is where, people that are struggling with addiction, they can come into the police department and ask for help. And what we do at that time is get them into treatment. And how we do that is we have several treatment centers that we have great relationships with. And one thing about the treatment centers, what they like is that the individual that wants help is at a safe place at that time. And so they're at a safe place in the police department. So that's number one. Number two, they will go today if they have a bed open, and we will make sure they get there safely. What happens is when you call from your house because you hit rock bottom, that person on the other line at the treatment center really doesn't know if you're going to show up or not. So they might say it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks to come in. But with the Safe Passage program, they put us up to the front of the line because that person's with us. And that's basically the gist of the program. But we don't go out, and we do community outreach, but we don't go out and say, come on in right now, because if you're not ready for treatment, it's not going to work. But, we have, I would say 95% of the people that walk into our police department are ready. And we have a pretty good success rate. We're about 35% of them staying sober when they get out. But 30 days is not long enough. We have learned through the years, through the past 2 or 3 years, that our success rate, is much higher when they stay into a sober living facility after they get treatments done. Mm-hmm. And that's what we push for right away. And also we push for them when they're there, because we still keep in contact with them while they're in treatment.
You mentioned the 30 days is not nearly enough. And it brings up the point of drug rehabilitation centers in central Illinois as a whole. What's the access been like for you when you're trying to go and find help for somebody? Have you guys been able to find treatment centers pretty easily? Go ahead.
You know, we have days where it's tough, and then we have days, you know, that's easy. It just depends because what happens is the treatment centers get most of our clients that come in don't have insurance, and you know things like that, and you know they hit rock bottom. So what the state does is they give every treatment center a certain amount of beds, okay, that help people without insurance, and they're limited on those beds. But we've been lucky enough to have enough, you know, but sometimes we have to have our volunteer drivers or Debbie or Denise drive far away to get them somewhere. But I'll give you a prime example. Just yesterday, we had a person come in and mom brought him in. He was ready to go. It was in Pekin. It was a one-year center, and this gentleman was going to stay a year, and we had him all set up. And actually, this center here has a fee, and we were lucky enough to have a company in Springfield that helps us out financially sometimes pay for this individual to go to his treatment center. And when we got there, they drove him there, and Pekin's not, you know, around the corner. So when they got there, the individual changed his mind right then and there, did not want to go. So they're in the facility, they're in Pekin, they have him there. The counselors are trying to tell him to stay, and he says no. That's how strong that addiction is. And then you can't force the guy to stay, and so we had to drive him back.
Right. I was going to ask, what can you really do in that situation?
No. And then Tuesday was another prime example. I got a phone call from a lady about her brother. I was in my office. She called, and they were supposed to come in at 10 o'clock, and it was 11:30. And she called me and said he just took off running. And I said, okay, well, he's not ready yet. Then she called back and says, I have him. I found him. He was walking down Shumway. So she put him in the car, went to her house, and she asked me to drive to her house. So I drove to her house, got him in the vehicle, spoke to him, and I was taking him to the police department to get him ready to go to treatment because we had a bed for him. He was ready to go. Next thing I know, he started yelling and screaming, "Don't kill me," in the back of the car, back of my police car. And he was sweating profusely, and he was going severe withdrawals and paranoia from meth. And he was trying to get out of my car, but he could not get out because there's a police car. And so I had to stop the car and talk to him, calm him down a little bit. But I ended up taking him to the hospital because he had severe withdrawals. And when we got to the hospital, they calmed him down. I stayed with him until, you know, he got better. But then he says, I'm not going to go. And that happens. But you know what? Both these individuals, if they change their mind today and come in and say, hey, Chief or Debbie or Denise, you know, I apologize for what happened. I'm ready to go. We're going to go.
How would you characterize the need for not only drug rehabilitation clinics, but also just mental health services in central Illinois?
Yeah, but you know, we were talking. I mean, just look at what's going on right now with our homeless population. You know, we don't have any resources here in Christian County that could help a lot of these people. We have been working on programs, and you know, it's who's going to take the ball and run with it. You know, that's what we need to find out. You know, we're doing our best. You know, people say we'll say passage. We do have a lot of people with mental health problems that come in and see us, and we're lucky enough to have treatment centers that are dual diagnosis, so they can take care of your substance abuse and your mental health. So if they're diagnosed with both, then we can get them help. And we have done that several times. But I think in the next 2 or 3 months with the pressure that you can see it building up with the citizens. It's not about, people talk about the homelessness, it looks bad. It's about caring about people. These people that are homeless have mental health issues, and they need help with a place to stay, and they help paying their bills, and we need caseworkers to help them. So this is not my expertise. All I'm trying to do is, I'm a public servant. The police department is all we are, and so we'll get the calls about that, and we'll do what we can do, but we're not the final decision makers of building a facility.
Right. Of course not. I guess I just wanted to know how you felt about, if you felt there needed to be more access to those kind of services or not, and kind of a short answer.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And I think, mental health is our number one problem today.
Yeah. Let's say about Police Chief Dwayne Wheeler talking a little bit about safe passage and the needs of the community here on the WTIM morning show. More from him after this short break right here on WTIM, your information station. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names: Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
I'm Police Chief Andrew Pistorius with the Sullivan Police Department, here to talk about a topic no one wants to discuss: depression that many times leads to suicide. When a person is going through such feelings, many times family and friends don't know how to help. But there is help. If you feel depressed or lonely, there are many resources to help you. Call a trusted relative, friend, or minister, or call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline toll-free at 800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-TALK. All of us are here to help.
Hello, I'm Dick Adams, the new Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. From helping Taylorville and Pana establish and promote their industrial parks to constant communication with existing and prospective employers, our ongoing work has helped grow and attract many businesses. Funding comes from both public and private sources and is vital to continuing our work toward attracting more jobs. Find out more online at christiancountyedc.org.
This announcement donated by the Miller Media Group.
They're back. School is back in session. When the kids come home, give them the protein-packed flavors of Prairie Farms Grab-and-Go Milks. They all provide the protein and nutrition your body needs. Grab-and-Go Milks, just another way you can help your kids' nutrition and health. From the farm families of Prairie Farms Dairy to your family. Grab them in your grocery or convenience store dairy case.
Here's a great way to prevent early nursing home placement. Rent one of the catered care suites at Taylorville Estates Assisted Living, 705 South Houston. Stay independent longer by living in one of these short-term apartments that include meals, laundry, a therapy gym, and much more. And if you like it, Taylorville Estates Assisted Living has 1- and 2-bedroom apartments available for longer-term stays. Find out more. Stop by and ask for Administrator Tony Clark or call her at 824-2222. That's 824-2222. Encouraging independence, enriching lives.
Computer Techniques, also known as CTI, is bringing fiber internet to local homes and businesses. For lag-free internet with speeds up to 1 gig, find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
As a first-time homebuyer, I needed a company that could be trusted and relied upon. I chose Westervelt Mutual. Find an agent near you by clicking on their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM morning show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and WTIM TV YouTube, brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I have Taylorville Police Chief Dwayne Wheeler here in studio, and we talked a little bit about safe passage covered a lot of ground on that topic, but Chief, I know you are getting a lot of questions about what the Community Action Team is. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to explain it. What is the CAT?
Well, the people here in the city of Taylorville and also other jurisdictions are tired of the meth, the heroin. Our main focus is meth. So what this team is a bunch of patrol officers that want to go ahead and learn about getting into drug investigations and et cetera. So what we created was a group of officers that we get together with, and it's just not Taylorville Police. We have the Assumption Police Department, Kincaid Police Department, Edinburgh Police Department, Morrisonville. We will get together and we'll talk about what problems they have in their community. We'll talk about what houses we're having problems with. We'll talk about burglaries. We'll talk about any topic, because what we want to do is, their drug problem is our drug problem. If there's a drug dealer in Stonington or Assumption, it's going to affect us too. So they don't have the manpower, and we actually don't have all the manpower too. So it's not a task for us. The team, as we get together and we focus on for example, there's a house here in Taylorville that's selling drugs out of. The people next door can't have their kids go out and play. Okay. We sat, this all started when Mike Rivera was back in the state, when he was state's attorney, and then Wes Pogenpaul picked it up, and Wes is doing a great job with it. What we do is we start an investigation on the house, and we try to get into the house with a search warrant, or we make some drug buys, undercover buys, using either a police officer or an informant, and we'll shut that house down so that it's a quality of life issue. But what's nice having other agencies involved with this, it brings us together. Like yesterday, we had a great meeting with all the agencies around. They have some issues, and so all the agencies have issues, and we were talking about, we were prioritizing what we're going to address first. And that's what the team is all about. And what I think the citizens here in Christian County should understand that, you might have a police force that have 2 officers, but you really don't. If you have a lot of break-ins or drug traffic at a location, you're going to have more resources than just those 2 officers. So it's been working really well. We have great cases right now that we put together. These young officers, I love to mentor them, and I've been mentoring them. They're picking it up. They're doing well. They're going to training. I'm sending them to training, tons of training I'm sending them to, and they're bringing back good ideas. And we all are just working so well together. And you can see that how many search warrants we've been doing lately. And also these, we've gotten a lot of meth off the street, and it's working. So it's only going to get better. And I think I'm just so proud of everyone that they enjoy this team so much that, they're looking to help everyone and our citizens to live a better quality of life, because the citizens are completely done with this meth. And so are we. And if you want to sell meth here in the city or the county, we're going to be at your doorstep, and that's a fact. And I think it's great. I think it's a great program, and I wish we had a couple more agencies that would get on the program, but they decided not to, and that's whatever reasons is their reasons. But we're doing well, and we have enough people right now.
I appreciate you kind of giving that explanation there, Chief. Briefly here, we'll only have about 20 seconds. What's your take on the Safety Act?
Well, the Safety Act, I could talk an hour about the Safety Act, but I think they are trying to tweak it right now. Nothing's sitting on the table yet, but we need to tweak this Safety Act. What's going to happen is the guy we catch with 90 grams of meth is going to be out the next day. Is not a good thing. So
that's Taylorville Police Chief Dwayne Wheeler. Thank you very much, Chief.
Okay.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH